Hello, America. It is Pete Hegseth. Welcome to Friday Night Live. It's not Saturday Night Live, but forget Saturday Night Live. And we know if the world was a fair place, a guy like Greg Gutfeld would be hosting Saturday Night Live every night. But of course, the media is slanted in the direction we know about. So we have Friday Night Live. And we have Fox Nation broadcasting on Fox News, on Fox Nation. And I'm broadcasting to all of you from my very own home. Like a lot of you, that's pretty much where we're stuck. I'm in New Jersey. Some of the worst lockdown orders in America happening right here in this state. Hopefully where you're at, they're starting to reopen. In fact, tomorrow morning on Fox and Friends, I'll be there bright and early on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to talk all about this because the push to reopen America, you're hearing it from the President of the United States, big time. And you're feeling it from the grassroots across America. I stay in touch with a lot of folks across the country, vets, workers, everybody, and they're telling me, hey man, let me use my common sense to get out there and reopen my business. That's the best possible bailout you could give me. But I'm excited for Friday Night Live because usually there's a country performer or a singer or somebody playing music. I can't do any of that for you. I was in the 9th grade choir, but I'll save that for you because you don't want to hear it. What I want to talk about tonight is a little bit about my book, which is coming out in 4 days on Tuesday, May 19th. And I'll read some excerpts. I'll share some of the behind the scenes stories. And then I'll tell a few stories to go right up to the edge and then stop because you're going to have to get the book to hear the rest of the story. And then I want to take your questions. In fact, I'm seeing them right now popping in from across the country. We've got thousands of you watching live online. Thank you for staying on it. I see Trump with American flags on there. I even see, I think Mike Lombardo, we may have served together at some point. I recognize that name. A couple of them here. Dawn, you just said ordered a signed copy of your book. Can't wait to read it. Thank you very much. The book you're talking about, and you've seen it all over Fox and Fox Nation, is American Crusade, Our Fight to Stay Free. And the cool part is, right now you're watching outside of the paywall. So if you're at Fox Nation or you're at Fox News, or Fox News Facebook or Fox Nation Facebook, you're watching this for free. But otherwise, you can sign up now for a year subscription at a reduced rate, and you get Fox Nation for an entire year. And then you get a copy of my book signed as well. This one you can see is Pete's copy. This is the one I've got notes and tabs written on for today's topic. But whatever book you get for Fox Nation is a special edition signed by me, John Hancock, to you. And then you get a year's worth of Fox Nation, which is so cool. So that is the promotion about tonight. We're taking questions and talking about that. Here's another question. Why do you wear colorful socks? I like them, just wondering. Good question. There's only so much you can do to mix it up for male wardrobe on TV. If I could, I would wear this scruffy beard on TV every time. Right now, I'm basically shaving on Saturday morning for the show on Saturday and Sunday. And then during the week, I let it grow out. So you can't really, you got to get inside the box a little bit and play the game. So the socks are a way you can mix it up a little bit. And thankfully, so many of you have mailed socks to me, my office at Fox. And so I've got a wide variety of about anything you can imagine. And try to mix it up, have a little fun. Why not, So keep them coming if you want. But I've got a large supply of Trump socks and American flag socks, and I love it. So thanks for sending them in. Chad says, how do you stay so thin? I don't know if that is a insult or a compliment, but I will take it. Listen, we get to eat a lot of, actually right now during COVID-19, we're not getting to eat much during the show. Normally, I say this and it's so true. The best food in the country is literally shipped to our show, cooked for us on the plaza, and then we get to eat it. So I take that great food and eat it all morning. And then I may go home and skip lunch or whatever. My wife, actually, who has not gotten a shout out yet, working diligently off camera. Jen, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
There, she's off camera. She actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to confess this or not, she eats way more than I do. Like time and a half more than I do on every meal. And she has the digestive system. And what's it called? The metabolism to just plow through it. I'm not the same way. So I work out a lot and eat a little bit less. I eat a lot of protein. What do? Protein and booze. That's pretty much it. Joe Surge Forward sends in a comment. Oh, he says, with the best background in TV. Thank you very much. You know, this is just a Skype camera over Skype. Works pretty well. Been able to do Outnumbered on it, do Fox and Friends segments. We'll do some primetime segments for the book. And this was kind of what I set up in the background. That is a set of challenge coins. I got a couple cool ones in there. The most important ones to me are the ones from where I serve and the guys I serve with. Got a lot of them there. The last command I had in ops in the Minnesota National Guard, my Princeton degree. This is a report we wrote for the VA that I'm really proud of. That's really changed the way VA healthcare is delivered, had a big impact. Of course, the Declaration of Independence, a bunch of books that mean a lot to me, including the one I'm talking about tonight. 3187, the Rakkasans, the unit I serve with in Iraq. This is my commissioning certificate. That's Fighting 69th. Their enlistment to go to World War I was literally go to the front with your friends. Because if you sign up together, you can go together. These are my boys, Gunnar Boone and Rex, CIB back there. And then a viewer sent me this. This is Mount Trumpmore. It is slightly modified Mount Rushmore with Trump added. We'll see. You know, if he wins in 2020, stranger things have happened. So appreciate you asking about the back. I was here this morning from Fox and Friends, but tomorrow hosting the show, I'm still in Studio F in New York City. I go in every weekend. And, you know, I'm glad to still go in. You see how absolutely quiet New York City is. It's crazy how quiet it is and how much it is completely shut down, except for, you know, a few people. I'm the only one going into McDonald's when I go to get lunch in between a couple of the breaks. Okay, so I want to read a couple excerpts of the book. Keep your questions coming in. I can see it. Let's see. Will you be having any book signings? Yes, we're doing. I mean, you can get a signed copy of American Crusade if you sign up for Fox Nation. You can go to Barnes & Noble, also has signed copies, barnesandnoble.com. I'm also doing a book signing, an event with Newt Gingrich on Thursday, but Fox Nation is the way to do it. You can get the book and a whole year, and I mean that. And okay, I'm going to get to the excerpt in a second, but I'm going to do this a couple of times because Fox Nation is the best content streaming out there in America. I know we all do Netflix, all do Hulu or Amazon Prime or all of that. But we've been stuck watching a lot of that stuff. And first of all, it's left-wing garbage, most of it. And we all have fun with it. We have our things we indulge in. We're watch, you know, All American and all this other ridiculous stuff. Indulging is fine, but you got to know what it is. If you want to actually enrich yourself, learn more, teach your kids, fortify your faith, learn history, learn about the world, the Bible, I'm telling you, Fox Nation is it. Patriotism, history, faith. It is fantastic. The latest special on China versus America by Maria Bartiromo, spot on. You got to watch it. The series on socialism by Bret Baier, I watched all series of it. You learn more than you ever would in a modern American university today about economics and socialism. It's insane. So check it out. Get a copy of my book. I sincerely think it's the way to go, and I mean that. Cecilia writes, Trump train, red heart, yellow heart, red heart, purple heart, yellow heart, red heart, purple heart. Okay, good. More emojis, the better, of course, always. Oh, Donna Graves says, love your Mount Trumpmore. I appreciate that. I think it's pretty fantastic, too. Google it. You'll find the company that makes it. Anyway, I want to read an excerpt here, and I want you to sort of send me any questions you might have. What I start with in the book is where we are, the moment that we're in. And I want to ask you, yes, there is an audio version, by the way. I recorded it myself, so if you go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or whatever, they all have the audio version. I spent 2 days in a booth reading it word for word. It's amazing how much you discover about your book again when you go back to read it after writing it. And it's interesting, I wrote the book right before COVID-19. It's shocking how much COVID-19 stuff it's all sort of reflected in the book without even talking about it. All right, so I want to start with where the very beginning of the book. It started. It's Our American Crusade, and I start by writing this. It says, "Take a moment to consider your part in the miracle of the 2016 election, because it really was. The history we made as sons and daughters of freedom. For the left, that humiliating defeat strengthened their resolve to achieve their ultimate goal, which is erasing America's soul, culture, and institutions. Say it again, erasing America's soul, culture, and institutions. We are the ones standing in their way, and we, not just Trump, have been targeted for annihilation. We, the people, must understand this moment. You feel it, I feel it, we all feel it. The other side, the modern left, is not our friend. We are not esteemed colleagues nor political opponents. We are foes. Either we win or they win. We agree on nothing else. And I hate to put it that way, because you want politics to be disagreements between kind of the left and the right on the margins. And okay, hey, we can disagree a little bit about how much the tax rate should be on any particular topic, but it's deeper and way more different. In fact, I'll fast forward. I'll ask you that. How is the modern left today different than liberals of the past? I write about it, but I want your opinion. I mean, you've known liberals, you've known Democrats. What do you notice about leftists today that's different? I'll give you a preview of my opinion. I fast forward about 30 pages where I write, the traditional American political paradigm, conservative versus liberals, is dead. Gone are the days when, despite our differences, political opponents disagreed on the margins, like I said, of our American experiment. Today, inside our domestic political discourse, the very idea of America is at stake. It's up for debate. It is up for grabs. Modern leftists who have now captured the soul of the Democrat Party, especially, and you know who I'm talking about here, the fully indoctrinated younger generation, literally hate the foundational American ideas of America. They are not reformable. They run against America, seek to destroy it, and want to remake it. Obama said it himself, we want to transform America. Today, Democrats say worse, much worse. They actually reject, you've seen this in the debate, they reject Obama for not going far enough. Our moment, and this is part of what I think makes this book fun and what you're going to enjoy, is that I share in a very raw way. Again, this book's not about me. They did put me on the cover with this. I like the cover, you know, a little bold, a little strong, but the book is not about me. I tell stories. I tell some really interesting stories. The first time I met the president-elect Donald Trump when I was up for VA secretary, I tell that story in here. A story of when it was Halloween. I got a phone call from a blocked number about an interesting topic. I shared that story in here. So there's stories in here that I share, but the book ultimately not about me. But what I do reveal is my own conversion, someone says, let's talk about those tattoos. We can talk about the tattoos at some point. In fact, this tattoo right here, Deus Vult, those are the last two words of the book, Deus Vult. So you got to buy it to understand what it means. I've had this on my arm for a couple of years. Didn't know it was going to be the last two words of the book, but I did put it in the book because it means so much to me. You guys are distracting me here with your comments. I can't help it. It's supposed to be, I love your We the People tattoo. Thank you very much. Where's the best place to get a signed copy? Barnes & Noble. Where did you get your challenge coins box? My wife got it for me as a gift, and it would require me taking it off the wall to see what the sticker says on the back, and it was hard enough to get on the wall and keep it straight. So I'm going to have to leave it up to the Google machine for you.
Yeah, everyone asks where it's from, and I don't remember.
Everyone asks where it's from. I ask her every time. Etsy. I say, get a receipt. She says Etsy, which doesn't really help because it's a big website. But what's another one? What's your favorite show on Fox Nation? I'm going to get back to the topic, by the way, of what I was talking about in the book. Favorite show on Fox Nation? I'll start with my own, and then I already mentioned others because I'm a huge fan. I love Trump or America versus China, what Maria did. I love The History of Socialism, which is fantastic. By Brett Baer. I love What Made America Great by Brian Kilmeade. I mean, he goes across the country, shares those stories. What else is out there? Gutfeld and One Smart Person. I've done Tyrish's show. It's great. Whoever I forget to mention, I don't mean to forget to mention, there's just a ton of good stuff out there and great specials. What am I missing, babe? I talk to you about it all the time. She'll give me some. And then I'm obviously partial to my Modern Warriors series, which the whole premise of Modern Warriors was to try to bring you into the bar. Seriously. Like when you get a bunch of vets, I wish I could tell the story the first time I heard the full story from Rob O'Neill in a bar of the Bin Laden raid. I thought I was going to meet him for 45 minutes. 4.5 hours later, I could barely walk, and I heard the whole story. The idea is get vets in their comfortable setting, which is with a beer, with people they trust and comfortable, and get them telling the real story. Sort of without, yeah, the cameras are on, I get it. But like when you're with friends and you know you're comfortable and you're not stuck to a 3-minute segment, you can really share what you're really feeling, what you're really going through. And I think as a vet, I can ask some of the questions that tease that out. So we've done that 4 or 5 times now. We've got another one in the hopper coming out on Memorial Day. We've got a special project coming up too. So I really love that project. And check it out. They're all cataloged on Fox Nation. And then my personal favorite, of course, is the series I've done in Israel, in the Holy Land. It was Battle in the Holy City, about Jerusalem, Battle for Bethlehem, about the birthplace of Jesus. And my most recent one is Battle in the Holy Land, which is about the settlements, which is about Judea and Samaria. Some big news potentially coming very soon on that from Bibi Netanyahu and the ambassador in Israel. Bibi may actually annex the Judea and Samaria, which would officially make them part of Israeli soil, which a lot of people are looking to see. Listen, take the bold move right now while you've got the support in the White House. Hopefully we get 4 more years. But those series, I'm telling you, I have a love and a passion for Israel. I'll get back to the book, but in my section about how we solve this, how we win the American Crusade, quite literally, it's chapter 13, and it's called The Front Lines. And it's all about, if we're going to start a fight, let's get to the front lines. What do we need to do first? My answer is education and Israel. Education, because what we teach the next generation is what matters the most. You know that in your soul. That's where the left has taken this whole thing over. We've got a couple projects coming on Fox Nation about education as well. What the left has done with progressive education in ripping God out, turning civics into social studies. It's a very intentional thing. Not teaching patriotic American history. Some of our schools don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance. All of these basic historical nuggets are not taught anymore. And then we wonder why kids wander into the world and are seduced by Bernie Sanders. It's not hard to figure out once you realize that education is the gateway drug for the left. And then Prager University, Dennis Prager's outfit, just did a video about just a week ago, which basically is the case I'm making in the book, about how if you don't understand Israel, you probably don't understand the West or America. And that's effectively the argument I make as well. Yeah, you can love America and be a patriot if you don't really understand Israel, but if you understand Israel, then you are even more dedicated to why America is a special and exceptional place. Like what makes our project possible? The biblical underpinnings. And listen, I'm a sinner. I write in this book, I'm a sinner and a failed person as much as anybody else in this world. But if you know your Bible and you know your biblical heroes and you understand our fallen nature and our sinful nature, it informs how you can stay free as free people. It is the guidepost for Western civilization. And I've got a few books in front of me that I'll share too, books that have influenced me. But so when you ask about that, so that series is part of it too. I do love the stuff from Lara Logan. Her stuff has no agenda. When you got someone of that stature who can just bring the heat, who's been there, done that, her stuff is great. And then John Rich, he's got some great shows. What he's doing with The Pursuit. The whole idea of the pursuit of happiness. He's like way more rich and famous than me or anybody else. So he gets all these people in and they want to talk to him because he's cool and he's got a bar at his house and and so they get him again in a cozy setting where they feel comfortable talking about it. And you get some really great candid stuff. So those are the shows that I love. But let me get back to the book. The book is not about me, but I do talk about, you'll love this. This might be surprising to some people who know me and know how much I support the President of the United States, how much a big fan I am of President Trump and his agenda and how he fights America first. If you're looking at chapter 2, the first sentence of chapter 2 is, "Hi, my name is Pete Hegseth, and I was almost a never Trumper." That's right. My name is Pete Hegseth, and I was almost a never Trumper. And it's true. And I go on to spend the first part of this chapter breaking down, where I was at the beginning, I mocked Donald Trump's candidacy. He's an armchair tough guy. He's a New York City liberal. Why should we trust him? I reasoned. His celebrity left me unfazed, his style unnerved. I talk about how I was a loyal, kind of establishment Republican. I'd been there for Bush. I'd been there for, Mitt Romney's campaign and John McCain. And I was a Rubio guy, and then I jumped aboard the Ted Cruz ship. He's a fantastic candidate. His filibuster on the Senate floor was a thing of beauty. And then Cruz sank. Trump had officially crashed the party and pooped in the Republican punch bowl. And it's true. Before Trump, I had just been following the well-worn path of Republican losers. And losing is part of what the Republican Party did so well for so long. They lost, and then they kind of apologized for it or explained it away, and it's frustrating. But when you start to see someone who actually fights, it's motivating. And so the next sentence is about, let's see, what a good comment here. You're talking about guys with tattoos. I got it. They're coming too fast. I can't keep up with them all, but I'm going to get as many as I can. And I'm going to bop between the book and the.
They basically said somebody with guns and tattoos is missing something.
Oh, somebody with guns and tattoos is missing something. I beg to differ. Or maybe we put what we believe on our sleeve, and when we're at home or where we need to be, we legally and responsibly carry, because we understand that without the Second Amendment, you can't defend your home and your castle and your family. And ultimately, that's pretty darn important. So keep them coming. We're going to be perusing them. Jen's watching them. She's going to put them in if there's stuff we need to answer. But I talk about in the next sentence about my Trump conversion moments. And that's true. And so when I talk right now, in fact, here it is. The election of 2016 was not about what party I was for, but instead what country I was for. Since that realization, I've been all in for Trump, fully converted, just as with a convert to a new religious faith, first being on the outside or an unbeliever gives you an even clearer sense of where you stand and why. I didn't support Trump because he's a reality TV star or successful businessman, but because he showed his fighting spirit for our nation at the very moment we needed. We needed a crusader in chief, and we got one. I break down the two Trump conversion moments that I have. And listen, I know there's people out there who were for Trump from the beginning, and I meet them. I meet them when I'm out there. Oh, Shauna says, hi, Jen. You getting some shout outs here, babe? I meet him all the time. And they say, I saw it when he came down the escalator. Trump was my man. And to you, I say, God bless you. Like, you were sick and tired of the status quo. You were looking for someone to call them pathetic and losers and dumb and to win against some people saw it, and I know some friends of mine who saw it from the beginning, but a lot of us, and you can admit it, you're probably like me, a lot of us didn't understand at first. We were still in sort of the mode of the way politics is done in this country. This is how Republicans talk. This is where Republicans go. Republicans are respectful. They quote Bill Buckley and Alexis de Tocqueville. And this is just how we roll. And there were some pretty good people in there. Hi, Dawn from LaSalle, Michigan. Very good people out there who felt that way. And then the left's reaction to Trump as he rose in the polls exposed them for who they were. And it became this, and I write about the real 2016 stakes. And I think I might do some of this tomorrow on the show, by the way, on Fox and Friends. So I don't want to say the whole thing. But it became the central question of 2016, and even more in 2020, is, do you love America or not? What? Oh, Julie Goldstein. Julie Goldstein, wife of Matt Goldstein, both of which I absolutely love. The president intervened on Matt's case, and I was privileged to be a very small part of that. Julie, Fox pays better. And Jen and I are happy right where we are right now. I appreciate it. Happy to not worry too much about politics, except call out politicians and hold them accountable, and then back up the ones that have an actual backbone, by the way. That's another thing from the book. I talk about the Trump spine that many of us have grown. And if I bet you've had a similar experience. Like backing down from people was easy to do, especially in the digital era. Oh, I don't want to talk politics. And if Trump can take on what he takes on, I mean, every single day, absolutely unrelenting lies, investigations, wiretaps, Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, the way they got Sessions to recuse himself. Then he fires Comey, and Comey finds a way to put in Mueller, and then we go through the whole Mueller thing. They find nothing, but then they turn it to Ukraine and they try to impeach him. I mean, if he can fight, and he's tireless, and I can tell you, the guy is. He's got an energy pool like I can't even fathom. Then you and I can stand up to bullies on Twitter or our family or neighbors, put on that red MAGA hat, be proud of it, not back down. And I do talk about in the book how 2016, it's the red MAGA hats versus the black Macs of Antifa. And I really, really believe that. So the stakes I talked about, do you love America or not? Do you believe in borders or not? Do you believe in citizenship or not? Do you support the police or not? Do you say the Pledge of Allegiance or not? Do you stand for the national anthem or not? Do you support free markets or are you a socialist? Do you want a large, strong military or not? Do you want to give vets good health care or not? Do you support the celebration of life and faith or not? Those types of moments are what the book's about. When you step back, and I was on a radio show today, a Fox show, and they asked, and he had read the book, and he said, Pete, what I feel like you did is you took me out of the 24-hour news cycle, and you took me into the back roads of leftism. You helped me explain to me what the left is really up to, the depth of how much they really hate America, and how deep the project is for them. This is not just politics. The left has captured and wants to tighten their grip on every part of our education system, which they basically captured, every part of our culture, our movies, our music, our social media. Look at Silicon Valley. If you haven't been banned, then you haven't been to 2020. I mean, it's coming. You see what they're doing with COVID-19. You look at our churches, many of which have become, social justice institutions, even the military with political correctness, our businesses, HR departments, so woke. It's crazy. And the left has a concerted strategy. So I like what he said. He said, you took me down the back roads. You showed me an expose of who the left is. You talked me through where you were politically, Pete, where you are today, the role Trump played in that, and then what the left has done and how we have to fight it. Because I did write a book. I don't think you can find it on Amazon if you try. 4 years ago, I wrote a book called In the Arena.
That's a great book.
Thank you, babe. I'm actually very proud of it. I worked really hard on it. I think Mark Levin wrote, Pete Hegseth lays out a citizen-led roadmap for forging another American century. I feel great about it. But it was like the tame Pete version of America First. It was okay, everybody, in the Minnesota voice, hey guys, if you really love America, here's some things, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you do a few of these things. And it would be good, and America would be better for it. And the Democrats, they're not so good. They could be better, but maybe we should win some more elections. And so I even corrected some things out of this book, which were too soft in my mind. And I think it was part of my maturation. So I wrote this 4 years ago. Now, it wasn't totally soft, because I did write this in the old book. Apathetic, self-indulgent, and coddled Americans often feel to me like aliens from another planet who lucked out and landed in America. Many Americans know nothing of where freedom comes from, don't even appreciate how special it is, and refuse to do their part to advance it. They are not men or women in the arena. The book's called In the Arena. They are masters of their parents' basement, heroes of an alternate video game universe, and perpetual victims of a cruel world. They are fighting for nothing. They are not alive and see nothing worth dying for. They are not men, and while they may occupy space in America, they're not in any arena, even though they live in the greatest country in human history. So, excuse me, I've been talking. When you write about citizenship, which this book is about, it's about citizenship and a republic, I pointed out the basic ingredients. 4 years later, it was wrenching out of me the need to write another book, like sort of the all-in MAGA, America first, unapologetic version of what it's going to take to destroy the left. Because after I wrote this in May of 2016, what? 6 months later, Donald Trump's president. At this moment, none of us know whether that's happened or not. His candidacy is real. His presidency, we don't know. And the whole game changes. The wool comes over away from your eyes. The fog's out of your glasses, and the left rears its head with all its hatred toward this man, toward us, toward the deplorables, toward the patriots who love America. And that's why this book felt so necessary. I do appreciate Sean Hannity saying Pete pulls no punches with this book. I will say the fact that Mark Levin's on the cover, Sean Hannity's on the cover, and my boy Tucker Carlson are on the cover are huge. Huge fans, love them all. I will say this, and I'll get back to reading a couple excerpts, but you're going to have to buy the book to get the whole thing. The one, and Jen, you can attest to this, the endorsement that I was waiting for the most, that I sent out, that I was the most nervous about, and I get nervous for sure, was who, babe? Say it louder.
Mark Stein.
Mark Stein. She wasn't sure if she was right. Mark Stein. I love Mark Stein, okay? He is, and I'll tell you, I'm not comparing myself to Mark Stein at all because nobody can. And show the comment screen though, because I want to see if there's more coming in there. Oh, okay. She told me to point to this. Linda Casey Trevor says, how can I get a signed book if I'm already a Fox Nation subscriber? Great question. Go to Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble has a signed copy. You can get it today. Easy. We can't get Fox Nation in Canada. I tried. Jen put a note in there, only in America for now. I get that note from people in Canada a lot, and I get it from people in Israel a lot who want to be able to watch Fox Nation. We're working on it. It's above my pay grade, but we are working on it. Gregory Dean White says, hand salute, sir. I appreciate that. How did you end up going from the military into Fox? Holy cow. If you had 2 hours, I would help. Basically, I was an advocate for vets for many years through multiple organizations. And that led to doing TV hits, and I became a military analyst and a vets analyst. I mean, I was doing stuff on MSNBC, CNN, Hardball for many years. Then I landed more on Fox. We started doing a weekly segment with Fox and Friends, and then one day they asked, have you ever thought about asking questions instead of answering them? And I said no, but I'll try anything one time and happy to make a fool of myself. And apparently it went okay. Although I did hit someone with an axe on my first weekend hosting. But that's been resolved. Everyone's okay. But I must have done okay otherwise. Thank you guys for tuning in by the way. There's an amazing amount of, let me see some of the live ones coming in too, babe, that are coming in.
Oh, his wife is one lucky.
Oh, his wife is one lucky lady. Yes, babe, would you agree with that?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you for your service. You know what I say all the time? I get thanked all the time for my service. I think of every dude and every woman out there who's given for this nation, and they're at home with their family, busting their ass for this country and for their own future. Will says, are those real tattoos? Yes, they are real. They cannot be removed. But I want to thank everybody who serves. Absolutely everything you do. Let's see. Oh, what's your favorite beer? My favorite beer. I do have a case of Corona Light in the basement right now, but that's for obvious reasons now. Coors Light is what I normally drink. I'll tell you this. I've moved away from beer. I think it's a sign you're getting old when beer just doesn't work with your digestive system the way that you want it to. And it doesn't. So I do less beer these days. I'm a gin guy. Gin is my poison of choice for sure. Gin and soda. Yeah, it's good. But now that I'm getting older, I got to get up early for Fox and Friends. I put this much soda in and this much gin in. So I'm not really drinking all that much, although I may have many glasses. You know how that goes. The comments are still coming in. I'm going to get to this story, though, for a second. So I'm not comparing myself to Mark Stein. But Mark Stein wrote a book called America Alone, and I devoured it, okay? It was an amazing book. I can't remember exactly when it came out. I'll look in the inside. He sent me a signed copy, which I will cherish. 2006, okay? The book comes out in 2006. I devour it. It's right when I came back from Iraq. And it's all about demographics and what's happening in Europe and the rise of radical Islam. It was spot on. And then I see another book from Mark Stein in 2011, 5 years later. And that book's called After America. And so he wrote America Alone, basically saying like America's the last hope. And then 5 years later, he writes America's done. Let's look, we'll see what happens in the future. And I'm not saying America's done, but what I'm saying is this is a big time update on In the Arena, which you could barely find on Amazon if you try to order it today. Good luck. This is a big time update and a reflection of my soul for this nation. And then what the left is doing, a roadmap for where the left wants to take our country. Leftism is part 2 of the book. Here's the chapters. Leftism, globalism, which are the world's worst citizens. Genderism, I talk about toxic, not masculinity, toxic femininity and beta males. Socialism, will it work this time? Secularism, which is deporting God from America, which the left, of course, wants to do. Environmentalism, the war on weather. Elitism, which is the poison of political correctness, which is the biggest poison of our discourse. Multiculturalism, which I call e pluribus, not unum, but e pluribus racism. And Islamism, which I say is the most dangerous ism. And you're going to have to read it to find out why. But I'll say this book is inspired by a lot of books. And if you're looking for great books, first of all, I'm never more than 10 feet, is that right, babe, away from the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Everything comes back to this. There's a section in the book called Are You a Declaration Person or Are You an Independence Person? Oh, babe, did you check to see if Gunnar sent an email in? Okay. My son was going to send a question in. I don't know. He may have forgotten. Oh, someone said they read In the Arena. Thank you. You and 100 other people. I appreciate it. But maybe we'll get another print run. If this book goes well, people might get interested in the original, which would be awesome. There's a section called Are You a Declaration Person or a Constitution Person or both? You should be both. The left is happy to reject the Declaration but embrace the Constitution based on what they want it to be. But you can't make it what you want it to be if you understand the Declaration. You cannot untether the two. I think Mike Lee wrote a great book about this. Of course, Mark Levin is awesome on it. The Declaration is our soul. It's who we are and what we represent. The Constitution is our body. It's the implementation skeleton. You cannot divorce the two. When Phil Murphy, the governor of our not so wonderful state, said right away, he was on Tucker. In fact, I see Tucker right here. Got Fox right here. He said to Tucker, the Bill of Rights is above my pay grade. That was maybe the most insane thing I've ever heard an elected official say ever. If there's one thing you should check your policies by first, it's the Bill of Rights. Oh, someone was laughing at toxic femininity. I appreciate it. Oh, can you give your thoughts on Ilhan Omar? Oh, boy. I'm going to get back to this. I'm going to get back to Declaration and Constitution because the book centers on that. If you get the first principles wrong, you can't get anything else right. That's why the left is so wrong. They reject the Declaration. That's their thing. They reject God-given rights endowed by a creator, the inherent equality, which ultimately led to the freedom of slaves and the equality of races and genders, all the things that we corrected in this country. And of course, the left wants us to believe that America is defined by her sins. The whole 1916 or 1619 project from the New York Times, defining our founding year as 1619 because that's the year that slaves arrived in America as opposed to 1776. I mean, I demolish that part of the book. You're gonna want to read it. But what did I get distracted by? Oh, Ilhan Omar. In chapter 1, oh man, you guys are leading me to water here. In chapter 1, I lay out two types of Omars, two Americas, two Americans, two Americas. To begin our journey, it is necessary to demarcate the bitter division between America and the left. To illustrate this, consider the lives and views of two immigrants from distant war-torn lands, Samara Omar, who later becomes Texas Omar, and Somali Omar. That's Ilhan Omar from Somalia, who remains Somali Omar in the book. Because, of course, Texas Omar I fought with in Iraq. He came to Texas, embraced this country with his family, and it's really, Texas Omar is really a combination of him and his brother as a character, which I talk about in the book. It's Bakr and Omar al-Abbasi, their father, Mr. Assad, who we worked with, and it's all detailed in there. Anyway, they fought al-Qaeda, unbelievably brave. I helped get them to this country. They landed in Texas and they love it. They absolutely embrace it. They've Americanized their kids' names. All their kids are learned English before. Now they're jumping into American culture. They're so happy to be here. I mean, Bacher is the top salesman at the Acura dealership down there for like 4 months in a row. He's blowing everybody away. Like, he's absolutely crushing it. Anyway, I contrast their gratitude, the gratitude of people who come to America, with the grievances of Ilhan Omar. And what Texas Omar says about America versus Ilhan Omar. You're going to love it because it totally breaks down and demonstrates why understanding what America is all about is central to being a 100% American. And we use another Teddy quote here where we talk about, are you a 100% American? Are you a 50-50 American, which we cannot afford right now? And in the end, I do end with this. Both Omars are Americans, technically anyway. What does Somali Omar embrace? The death squads of her native land, anti-Semitism, her brother, her husband. There is no excuse for her behavior. America does not have room for even 0.1% of her bigotry and blatant anti-Americanism. So if you had any doubts whether we're bringing the heat in this book, we're laying it out. You have to lay it out. Like, this is the moment. That's what I talked about in the book. This is the moment where we have to delineate who supports and loves this country, who backs this president. It's why 2020 is such a huge and influential election. And then what we need to do about it to defeat the left. I was about to talk about the documents that inform this book the most. Declaration and Constitution. The Holy Bible, okay? Marked through understanding Adam, Eve, Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon, Jesus, the disciples, Acts, Romans, Revelations, everything in between. John the Baptist. We're reading about Mark right now and John the Baptist being beheaded and all the, sharing those stories with your kids. This is the timeline and the trajectory of Western civilization. This book, but a book that really affected me that I love is called Smiling Through the Cultural Catastrophe. If you want to give a book, you've never heard of it, and hopefully this spikes. I know I'm trying to sell my book, American Crusade, but this book, Smiling Through the Cultural Catastrophe Toward the Revival of Higher Education by Jeffrey Hart, introduced me to the topic of Athens and Jerusalem. The idea of Jerusalem, the holy side of the West, and then Athens, the rule of law, freedom, democracy, free thinking, rational thinking. The combination of those two, which are often in tension, are also the foundation of what have created Western civilization in America. I'm telling you, fantastic book if you can find it. Like an awesome overview and summary. Jeffrey Hart was a professor at Dartmouth, one of the few conservatives. By the way, Princeton, where I'm from, I went to school. There's a huge conservative revival of professors there called the James Madison Institute. Anyway, awesome. Whittaker Chambers, the book Witness, was about the evils of communism. Amazing book. Alger Hiss, he was loved by the left. He was a communist spy, eventually exposed. Unbelievable book if you want to learn about communism and the left. Another book I read recently, Douglas Murray, Europe, The Strange Death of Europe, how Europe is a preview of America on demographics, on leftism, on collectivism, on Islamism. And then I snuck this one in, babe. I don't know that it influenced my book, but it did help me understand the man. All right, Trump, The Art of the Deal. I remember when it became clear he was going to be the nominee, I thought, I got to learn about this guy. I mean, I guess I know him from The Apprentice. I know him from pop culture, but I got to read about it. So I did. I read the book, and it gives you a much better glimpse into who he is and how he works. How do you have time to read and write? Good question. How do I have time to read and write? Jen's looking at me with a very tired face. She's ready to go to bed. I don't know. And Jen's going to reject this, having but 3 years ago giving birth to our daughter Gwendolyn. I feel like writing a book is like giving birth. It's like a lot of work and it hurts a little bit, but then when it comes out, you love it because it is a labor of love. All right, a few more questions here. Jess Bridgman says, we prefer Pete Unleashed. There should be whiskey in that glass, though. There should be whiskey in this glass. Good point. I really love the Fighting 69th whiskey, by the way. But I love this glass right here. Actually, there's a series of 4 of them. This one's Philosopher, Benjamin Franklin. You have the Rebel. You have the Patriot. I can't remember the other ones. Anyway, what I love about this is it could be water, it could be gin, and you don't know. and I'm not going to tell you. But if it's whiskey, then you know. So I agree. I do enjoy some whiskey. Pete, who is your tattoo artist? Oh, NYC4. Name's Mark Harada. Great guy. Can't do tattoos right now, but it's down on right now. What's the one? NoHo, Soho, Houston Street, south of Houston Street, in sort of the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I discovered him. One of the guys on set recommended him. Love it. Great dude. Hey, soda is bad for you, says Raina. Should be drinking organic tonic water with quinine. Listen, tonic has too many calories. Back to the skinny thing. I do like tonic water if I can get it with quinine, but it's also low in calories. I'm saying way too much. But soda is not bad for you. It has no calories. I believe that chemicals are good for you. If you watch me on Fox and Friends, I have a lot of theories about that, some of which have gotten me in trouble.
That should lead you to this last one.
Lead me to the last one. Michael Nasudi asks, since you haven't washed your hands in 10 years, you're not really hand signing every book, are you? Cause you. Yes, I am. I'm signing every. Can you attest? Tens of thousands of books I have signed, which have all gone out, which are part of the Fox Nation deal. Again, if you're watching this, and we've stayed really strong with viewership on this, by the way, so thank you for sticking with us. Fox Nation, get it right now. 1-year subscription, cheap as all get out. You're going to love the content. You will get a signed copy of my book, one of which was signed by me and comes with the germs I signed it with, all the way to you as well. Saying, oh, diet tonic. I do like diet tonic. Yeah. A lot of talk about my drink choice here.
I've never heard a grown man talk so much about calories.
I know. It's pathetic. I'm sorry. Listen, you know this. As you get older, come on, you got to watch what you're taking in. Anyway.
A lot of people asking where they can get the signed copy. You can also get it at the Fox Nation shop, the exclusive Fox Nation version.
Thank you very much. Producer of my life, my lovely wife Jennifer, says you not only the deal on Fox Nation where you get a year subscription and the signed book, you can go to the Fox Nation store, shop, and you can buy a signed copy, which is online. You can also go to Barnes & Noble and get a signed copy as well. But the one at the store is the exclusive Fox Nation. See, what you're hearing is the live dialogue right here. Normally, it's in my ear during the show from producers who are yelling at me and telling me to rap and stop talking and all those things. But you can't hear that. But if we ever abruptly cut ourselves off in the middle of the show, you know why. Let's see. Speak of that, Fox, there was a question in here earlier about when the shows might go back to the set. I don't make that decision, and Fox has done a great job of being responsible in this and keeping employees informed and keeping people safe. I would love to go back to the set as soon as possible. I think we could socially distance very easily, but that's not my call, and I respect the calls of everybody else. And hopefully I can get out there and do a socially distanced responsible diner, and maybe down in Florida where they're open 25%. Or they're outside. I could go out there and ask people questions what they think about the reopening. So listen, if I had my way, I'd be back on the road doing the diner segments because I want to hear from you. And I write about that in the book. Again, I'll go back to the book because that's part of what we're talking about tonight. The common sense wisdom of Americans is unbelievable. It's my favorite thing about Fox and Friends is going out across the country and meeting you guys and going into those diners and eating great food, ridiculously good food, like grits, sausage. The pancakes, I can't always eat many of them, but I like a good, but it's talking to the people on camera and off camera. And the wisdom of what you guys have is what the elites miss. Seriously. Like, I'm a firefighter, I'm a school teacher, I'm a small businessman, I'm a construction worker, I run a hair salon, I'm the policeman, I'm the mayor of a small town, I run for school board. Here's what I'm facing. Oh, Florida's going to be 50% open on Monday. Oh, thank you, Beverly Ann. See, even more of a reason we should be there. But and that's why I'm so glad we broadcast those segments, because people get it and people hear it. And it's a check on the elite garbage. You know what? It's Fox Nation, so I can say it. The bullshit, okay, from New York City and Silicon Valley and Washington, D.C. and all these elites. And listen, I talk about elitism in here. It's one of the biggest chapters, and the poison of political correctness. because I did go to Princeton and I did get a master's from Harvard. And I've spent a lot of time with the so-called elite members of our country. And you know what? They look down on middle America, like straight up. I saw it. I've seen it. Like they believe that they know better than us. And they condescend constantly. And you see it in the dripping rejection of Trump and the dripping titles of deplorables or clingers to God and guns. It's all there. So it's, Bible, basic instruction before leaving Earth. I've never heard of that. This is actually very much like Fox and Friends, multitasking, talking and reading at the same time. My dad just emailed Brian Hegseth in Minnesota. He's got the special pipeline to Jen. What? He's Facebook challenged. We do have Brian's 2.0, 3.0. He's not all the way there yet on Facebook. He said he will convert me to whiskey. He is a whiskey connoisseur. I'm still on the water, but I may have to switch to whiskey at some point. So I love that B-I-B-L-E. B-I-B-L-E that's the book for me. Yeah, grew up on all that. So anyway, I love the common sense you guys bring across America, and we try to bring it in the show as well on Fox and Friends. So I hope you get out there as quick as possible. I also want to give a shout out to my family who's watching. I appreciate it. To my lovely wife, Jennifer, who is the producer of this show and of my life. To all the kids here sleeping or not sleeping. To my boys, Gunnar Boone and Rex. Gunnar's probably not watching, but he maybe is. I sent him a book. And hopefully he's on it. Preach it, Pete. I've never thought about being a preacher. I did once think, though, the most consequential job in America is a preacher, because it's saving souls, and you change a heart or a soul, and you're changing someone's life from the inside out. I just realized at a young age I wasn't made for the cloth to be a preacher, and that public policy and passion for my country was much more where I was oriented. So I felt like, hey, if that's where God's calling me, I'm going to stay there, stay focused on that. Never thought I'd be wearing makeup on TV for a living. I shouldn't.
Oh, you want to reveal?
Oh, no, this is what happens every once in a while. I shouldn't show it, but it happens. You get just one shot. If you screenshot it, you got me caught. But it's true. You wear makeup when you're on TV. I try not to do it, but here we are. Are you doing this again next week? I could do this, I think, every week. I really do. And producer Jen would become a person, and she would be, he looks like he needs his nails done. That is true. I bite my nails like an animal. It's true. That's one thing I can't control. Bible is fairy tales, says Erica Connolly. Okay, well, you might want to try that one again. Some pretty important fairy tales. You do, the amazing part about that is, I dare you to go to Israel, Erica. I dare you to go there and walk the footsteps of Jesus and of David. Go see the temple. Go see the city of David. Go see Bethlehem. And then go find the discoveries they're making, all of which validate the places and people of the Bible. And that's not just the New Testament, but the Old Testament. And then when you consider how Christianity thrived under the utter persecution of the Roman Empire, but still survived. This is, can we see your wife? Can you make a brief appearance? Come here, babe. Yes. Come here. Oh, mwah. She's been out in the sun all day. T-shirt, rocking it, Yay! My shot's on delay, so I want to see it, wait for it. There she is. Oh, suntan today and everything. She's the best, absolutely. But listen, you can say the Bible's a fairy tale until you engage with it. I write about this in the book as well. I learned about faith in college, not from my really garbage course on Christianity, which actually taught against Christianity at Princeton. Of course, Princeton used to be a theological college, when it was first founded, but we've lost that a long time ago. And I found in the book stacks of Firestone Library all these historians about the Bible that show that the Bible's history, the original documents of the Bible are the most closely linked to the date in which they were written of any original document in history. So you've got Plato and all these ancient texts, but the most recent original text we have is always 600, 700, 500 years after they would have actually lived. With the Bible, with the New Testament especially, these documents are discovered 60, 70, 80 years after the events actually occurred, written by the apostles Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Paul, And so the source documents are super close and very, very consistent, which shows you they're written by people with firsthand account. It's powerful stuff because I had my own questions like anybody else for a really long time, and it means a lot to look into it, for sure. What else we got here? Oh, she is beautiful. I agree. Thank you. You are beautiful, babe. Look, now you're dominating the feed. Very pretty. Yes. She's gorgeous. I agree. Oh, We the People. Oh my goodness, no. I need to cite it every time. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Hold on. What I know better, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish. See, what I know better is I know better the Declaration of Independence. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for people to dissolve the political bonds which connected them with one another and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station of the laws of nature, nature's God entitled to them. It's so beautiful. I'm a declaration guy because we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Remember when Joe Biden could even say that statement because he wanted to say all men and women are created equal, so he's so politically correct and captured by the left. He couldn't just recite it as it is because obviously it does. I'm a declaration guy. But no, you're right. I've always been very bad at memorizing. I once did memorize the entire In the Arena quote because it was in my book. It's right behind me. I carried it. It's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the doer deeds and could have done them better. It's the credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and tears. I know it, but I forget it. I got a bad memory. Do I not have a bad memory, Ben?
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, yeah. Vikings. What? Oh, yes. You know what? It's an important little document here. This is the Jen Hegseth edited version. This book was edited with love on planes, trains, and buses, so please excuse the legibility. Love, Jenny. And she did. Listen, I probably would have gotten a lot more trouble than I'll get in anyway, if not for Jen's edits to this book. So this is, I'm going to keep this. You know, this could be, maybe you could sell that on eBay for 25 bucks, you know? Eric, thank you. I don't.
Eric wanted to know if you would Vikings, Twins, Wild, or New York Rangers. Got to pick one.
If I had to pick one, New York Knicks. But I know they're not on there. I would go Vikings. Yeah. But I'm a big Knicks fan from back in the day. Some people hit me up for not being able to stop biting my nails. I can't help it. I don't know what to say. Here's the thing I love about Fox and Friends is you can't fake it for 4 hours. So I'm used to kind of this live component of it. Oh, I'm telling you, I got 3 minutes left. These are the times to try men's souls. I love that quote. I want to go back. I want to finish with this real quick. And I want to thank everybody who's been on this because the stream has stayed really strong. And I love you guys for staying on. I have been to the Constitution Center in Philly, by the way. This book is a passion project for me. It's an extension of what I believe. I don't say a single thing I don't believe and don't fully support. And this book is a guttural expression of how I feel. I mean, for Mark Stein to say it's brilliant, and Tucker saying, hey, it's terrific, and Hannity saying, buckle up, and Levin saying, you know, he's a warrior trying to crush the left, and you'll have to get the book to see the Donald Trump quote that he said that I reveal in the book. It's humbling, because it's not about me, it's about our fight for this country. So if you love those ideas, you're going to love the book. Buy it for somebody who's maybe not there yet and who needs to be reminded why America's so special and what we're up against. And at the very end, it gives tips. Here's what you can do. Here's how you could be a crusader. We need crusaders. And it talks about the Crusades. I chose that name for a very intentional reason. It's kind of controversial in some sense, but not in the way that I frame it in this book. And frankly, without the Crusaders of 1,000 years ago, we wouldn't have had Christian Europe, and we certainly wouldn't have America today. So standing up and fighting for what you believe in, whenever that is, matters and reverberates throughout generations on this earth. History is not over, as I write about in the book. America is not inevitable. And if the 21st century is not dominated by us, by the red, white, and blue, it will not be a free century. There is nowhere else to sail to. So if you love those themes, get Fox Nation, get it for a year, and then you'll get my book signed I just got 2 signed copies. Thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate it. I'm going to butcher the last name, but I try my best all the time. Janice, maybe. Thank you very much. Seriously, get it, share it. Great Father's Day read, great summer read for your, men and women in your life who love this country. You're going to love it. Get them a subscription to Fox Nation as well, and you can get a signed version if you get it at Fox Nation. So anywhere books are sold. I mean, I can't believe it's only been an hour. I could do this for 3 more. Why don't we do this tomorrow morning? You guys have fired me up for Fox and Friends. Sending a big hello from Philly. Thank you, Jennifer Black. Hey, makeup man. Okay, cry, laughy emoji faces. I totally get it. Where are you from? I'm from Minnesota. Originally, now I live in Minnesota. Tell them, Pete, they're ordering now. Thank you, big fan. Oklahoma salutes you. I might be going out to an event in Oklahoma in June, by the way. Murph's Guns in Duncan. Ordering it now. Thank you. Where are you from? I'm from Minnesota. Rock on. I see those Rock-a-thon symbols. Fantastic. Getting your book. Already a member. A Fool says there is no heart. This was great, Pete. Hope you do it again. I would love to do it again. This fires me up for Saturday morning. How do I join Fox Nation? Go to foxnation.com or download the app on the App Store on Android or iOS. Hey from the Florida Keys. Love it. Ordered mine. Waiting. Saw you at the Patriot Awards. That was an awesome event. I'm sorry we couldn't do it this year. We're going to do it again. PA in the house. Washington State, may you unlock down as quick as possible. Hello from South Florida. God bless you and your family. Hopefully they're sleeping a little bit right now. Ever been to Montana? Many times I've been to Montana. It's an amazing state. Good night from New Orleans. Jen is from New Orleans. Her family's from there. Who dat? Signed copy if I renew my subscription? No, but you can get it at the store right now. Ordering the book now. Thank you very much. JFK, my grandpa. JFK would have been a Republican. North Dakota listening in right now. Miss for Fox News and Pete. Michigan loves Pete. I love Michigan. Hey, Georgia, thanks for opening up. My goodness, you'll be watching all weekend. This is actually quite humbling. Hey, I'll put your face on my right side of my driving range. Ooh, that seems not nice. We love you, Pete. We're going to order your book. Thank you so much. Hey, a conservative from Maryland. Shocking, I know. Texas, man, Texas looks better every day, doesn't it, babe? Every single day. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Getting your subscription, thank you. You will not regret it. Second 187 back in the 90s. Alpha Company, Rock-a-thon right here. Bam, that 3187. Love it. Texas loves Pete. Love you guys. Have a great night. We got to sign off right now. I will be on Fox and Friends in the morning, 6 to 10 a.m. Get the book, American Crusade. I promise you, you will not regret it. Get it for your family members, for the patriots in your life, or get it for the leftists who don't get it yet, and maybe we can get them converted at some point. Love you guys. Let's do it again. Have a fantastic Friday night. This was Friday Night Live on Fox News and Fox Nation. God bless you guys. Cheers.